Hey everybody, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and our Cash or Trash video where I look at the hot comics from this week, give my opinion on what I think is going to happen over the next 6 months or longer, depending on how I decide to talk about the book. These are all just my opinions. I'll be right, I'll be wrong, but I'm using my research from the look back videos I do to make some predictions and discuss them. So that's what you've tuned in for. We got a few people in the chat already. We had John tailgating a few minutes early. What's going on, my friend? We had Big Will Comics. What's going on, Big Will? John, myself, and several others will actually be on Big Will's channel tonight playing D&D. We'll be starting a brand new game. We're going to be building our characters, doing that kind of stuff tonight. So if you have any interest in that kind of stuff, we used to do that over on White Will's channel. He is now going to play. Big Will's going to be the DM, so we've moved it to Big Will's channel. What's going on, Deep House? Thank you for joining us. Empire, welcome. Just here so you don't get fined. Well, that's good. Sam, what's happening? What is happening? So this week we had 18 books on the list. Tom just got their video out like 2 hours ago, so I haven't had a lot of time to think about some of these, so I may be thinking my thoughts as we're going through them. But so let's get this started. We're gonna add to the stream. Reminder for anybody that's new, I kind of put these into categories of what I think is going to happen with them. Again, this is just my opinion. My categories are like straight cash homie books I think are going to continue to go up. I have worth it books I expect to stay about the same to maybe slightly more, but right in that same range. I'll be back books that are going to drop a little bit, traps books that are going to drop a lot, and then come on, man, what are you guys thinking? This is terrible. So those are my categories. What's going on, Simon R? Thank you for hopping in here. And with that, let's get started. So first up this week, we got Jenny Zero, #1. This is the recalled edition. So apparently this book came out this week. There was a whole bunch of printer errors with it. Like pages were duplicated, pages were out of order. Apparently it was a mess. It's going for $40 on the secondary market. This is absolutely a trap. Let me get to my my little thing. Why? I've been doing this for a couple of years. There's been a lot of recall books. Generally, they do not hold value, particularly not this much value. The only way they hold any value is if almost none of them get to the market, get out of shops, and the book itself has additional meaning or value. So people have to want the book and want the air of the book. So for this series has to be good. And there has to be only a few of these that got out for this to hold this kind of $40 plus value that it's going for right now. What's going on, Hazelden? Sorry, I was blanking on reading that. I find that unlikely, and generally it doesn't come true. It doesn't. If you remember what it was at the Dead Rabbit thing, it did drop down to nothing. There was a Superman recall. There's been a bunch of recalls over the last couple of years. None of them really have amounted to anything for the most part. It's definitely an exception if it does. And I know for a fact that at least some of these got out. I know a couple comic shops that I know they got out of. They just let them go. So yeah, there may only be a few, but I would doubt that. My guess is, like I said, the series has to matter, and there has to only be a few of these. I don't think that's going to be the case here. So, hey, Sharon, what is happening? Jay Hood, thank you for joining us. Yeah, exactly. There you go. See, shops didn't necessarily pull them, not aggressively at least. So yeah, I would not expect this to hold that kind of value. Somebody who got it on Wednesday, I'd let her go. Probably reverse. Oop. Yeah. Next up, we have Gargoyles, #1. As far as I know, I could tell what they were saying is there's no necessarily revamp of the show coming. This is just pure 90s nostalgia, moving this book to a certain degree. Yes, congrats to Cade. That's even what they kind of said. Raw copies are now $125 plus. 9.8 is going for $750. This time last year, a 9.8 was going for $150. I still think this is I realize this is nostalgia moving this book and not necessarily show hype or option news, but this is an I'll be back for me. I don't think it's going to sustain this kind of value. There's a ton of these. There just is. Hey, R, what's going on? Yeah. Hey, Ramon, what's happening? And so, yeah, in the waiting phase on Cade. Yeah, you always got to wait a couple weeks. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really remember watching this show. I remember it existed, but I don't remember watching it. So there's no real nostalgia for me. But this, to me, is an I'll be back. I think these prices are a little high for this book, but we'll see. Next up, we got Starlight #1. Basically, this was optioned this week by 20th Century Fox, another Millar property that has been optioned. Like every single Millar, yeah, dollar bins for Gargoyles. Yeah, because they're out there. They are definitely out there. They keep optioning these things. Finally, like Jupiter's Legacy is finally being made into something, but like even that Magic Order that he created specifically for Netflix didn't end up making a show. Like he has a terrible record of getting these things to production and release. He gets a lot of things optioned, a lot of things pre-production. This one's going for $30 right now. This is an I'll be back for sure, if not a trap. Like I'd lean toward an I'll be back, but really it might be a trap because it's just his record is not good on this. You have to wonder. It just typically these things do not make it all the way to production. They just have not. So we'll see. Maybe this is the one that will. It's kind of a cool story. It's like a former superhero grows old, has a family, his wife passes on, he's in like his upper 60s, and he gets called back into action one more time. It's kind of a fun story, but yeah. Yeah, I think everything he does is pretty much that. I think that's all he writes right now is he starts something, sees if he can get it picked up, and then he doesn't worry about it no more. We just read Reborn for the indie show, and I feel like he's saying he's going to come back to that. My guess is he doesn't. Which would be disappointing because it was a good story, but there you go. Next up, we're going to move into covers. Oh my goodness, Sharon hitting us with a super chat. Thank you, Sharon. You should be saving those super chats for Cade, just for the record. But I will take it. And that means we got to do we got to play our little super chat clip. Here we go. Yes! Did you see that? You see how they reacted in the chat? They loved it. Take that, Bear Island. There you go. Take that, Bear Island. Oh, thank you, Sharon. All right. Next up, we got Guardians of the Galaxy. We're moving into covers. We had a bunch of cover stuff this week. Guardians of the Galaxy #13, the 1 in 50 Peach Momoko. This one looks almost like it's out of focus. I thought I had saved a better picture than this. Anyway, yes, take that, Bear Island. I need to really come up with something new and clever, but that one's just so good. A 1 in 50, this one's going for 65. That is not a hot 1 in 50. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, it's going for over ratio, but $65 is not a hot 1 in 50. This one will not hold. This is definitely an I'll be back if not a trap. My guess is this settles somewhere in the $25 to $35 range after a few months. I don't think this is a particularly. Momoko is super hit or miss for me. This is definitely a miss for me. Although I will say the picture I got here is a little grainy. I don't know what happened there. I thought I had better ones. But like this is not. They put it on the list. This is not a hot 1 in 50. It's $65. This is not going to drive values for a long period of time. So this one's definitely a trap or an I'll be back at best. Only reason it's not trap is because it's not going for that much more than ratio. So, we got another super. Dang, thank you, guys. Thank you, Bradley. That is much appreciated. We're getting multiple super chats. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, yes. Did you see that? You see how they reacted in the chat? They loved it. Take that, Bear Island. So there you go. All right. Next up, we got You Promised Me Darkness #1, the Anya Nuria 1 and 5 variant at $30 plus. Interesting thing here is this book was not supposed to be released till next week. Hey, Mr. Garrell, what's happening? So, Mr. Garrell, that's right. Well, I appreciate that you enjoy the show. Hopefully, I haven't steered you too wrong, so I'll try not to. So this technically wasn't supposed to be released the next week, but it's already out there. People are already selling it, so it's going for $30. This 1 in 5. Again, here's the thing: anytime you're talking about an indie in any kind of incentive cover or anything like that, is the cover can be great. The indie has to matter. And what I mean is it has to tell a story that people care about, that they come back to, that they collect. Otherwise, it will not hold. We see this all the time. Almost weekly, I get an indie book that on this list or two that are the hot indie of the week, and 6 months, people don't even remember they exist. And now there's exceptions. Something's Killing the Children. There are books that take off and go. That's what has to happen here. Generally, my rule of thumb on these is unless you just love it, you read it and love it, is patience, patience, patience on these kind of things. Yeah. Yes, this book is actually out next week. I don't know why they're already out there. This is definitely, in my opinion, a trap. I was reading the comic just before I got on here. Thank you very much. I was reading Batman and Catwoman, and I'll get my opinions on it tonight. And see if you get people to read for him. I wish. Not really. I like to read. What are you talking about? This is definitely a trap. Oh, wrong button. There we go. It's a trap. Because it just, there's, what is happening? Clicking on the wrong things. I'm not driving the stream very good. You guys probably wouldn't notice if I wouldn't shout myself out for screwing up. Next, we got Only Wolverine #1, the Karen Grant hip hop variant, homage to the DMX album cover. We all know why this hit the list this week. Raw sales are going for $100. This was a $20, $30 comic. It's really sad what happened to DMX, but I'll tell you right now, these bumps that happen when someone passes away don't last. Everybody gets nostalgic. Everybody wants to go get the book. It's a great cover. Unruly is correct. It's a cool cover. It's one I kind of had wanted to grab just because I love the series, and I was thinking about getting all the covers for #1, or like the regular covers for #1. Plus, it's just a cool homage to a great album, great artist. Sucks what happened to him. But the value will go down. This is absolutely an I'll be back. It just the people are feeling nostalgic and sad, and they go out and get this stuff, but then the market dries up, and this does not sustain. It just doesn't. Yes. Oh. So, next up, we got Canto and the City of Giants #1. This is the Martin Simmons 1 in 25 variant, start of the 3rd volume of Canto. This is definitely an I'll be back. It's going for $45.50, which is not quite double ratio. You guys know my stance on this. For 1 in 25, it's got to get to triple ratio to hold. It's got to. And if it does not get the triple ratio, it will fall back to ratio. It's not 95% of the time. That is what we see with 1 in 25. So if they don't go further, now it might go further this next week, but as of right now, it has not. And I'll be honest, I don't think this is a particularly cool Canto cover. Maybe I realize it's the Eye of the Giant and everything else, but I'm with Unruly on this. Canto is good. This cover, I thought the 1 in 10 was better too, John. I agree. Need that Doctor Strange. Yeah, some of those hip hop variants are crazy priced. This is an I'll be back for sure. Next up, We got... All right, we got... What is this? Minky Woodcock, the girl who electrified Tesla or something, and this is the Virgin variant. Going for $25, $30 raw. I almost want to put this as a... But I'll go with... Or this. I'll go with it's a trap. But I really like... Okay, it's a scantily clad woman on the cover of a independent comic. Again, the series has to matter. I've heard no buzz about the series. Is it that good a drawing that anybody thinks this is going to sustain on its own? Series has to matter. This is a trap. This is absolutely a trap. All right, next up. We got Spawn, number 237, the purple Trade Smart variant. I think the regular cover is like maroonish instead of purple. This is during the low print period of Spawn. This is a hard to find variant. This thing is hitting raw copy, went for $520. 9.8 went for $1,800. These hard to find rare Spawns have just exploded over the last year and a half. And Sam is saying it, like, the Spawn collectors go crazy for this stuff. Yeah, I don't see this book coming down. It's like I said, it's hard to find. It's during the low print. It's a variant during the low print run anyway, and this one's harder, even harder to find. Is it purple? I can't remember the other cover. So yeah, this is the blue one, or no, this is the purple one, purple Trade Smart. And the other one's like maroon, I think. Yeah, 237. Yeah, it was expensive before. This is just new heights, and this is going to keep going to new heights. So this is not, yeah. This is true. During that period, they are. Even the regular covers on some of them are hard to find. Next up, we have kind of our cover of the week. This was on both lists this week. This is Joker number 2, The Secret 1 in 50 variant. This book, Joker number 2, is the first appearance of Bane's daughter. This is the first appearance of her on the cover. This book is going crazy. It's going 2 to 250 plus right now. A 1 in 50 for 2 to 250 plus right now. So what? That's 6 to 7 to 8 times, 6 to 8 times ratio already. We're getting Bane's daughter. She's a new character. Joker apparently killed Bane recently. I don't know if you guys, spoilers if you missed that part of the story during the Smells Like the Robin King variant. Maybe. It just depends on what they do with her. If they're going to leave Bane dead and she's going to take the mask and the mantle for a while, my guess is this holds. If she doesn't, then obviously they'll come crashing down. I don't think it's going to like explode. I think it's an I'll be back. I don't know that I'd pay these prices. I would try to be hopeful that it comes back a little bit. But I'll be honest, a 150 that goes this high more often than not stays or keeps going than falls back. Now they do. It does happen. It does. I mean, it's probably 70-30 if it goes this far, this fast. That it stays or keeps going 70% of the time, maybe 30% of the time falls back. But yeah, yes, most stores didn't order, and it was a surprise. Yeah, they didn't know they were getting it. So they didn't order an extra 5 copies to get it if they were ordering 45 because they didn't know there was a 1 in 50. So there is that. So it's pretty rare. My guess is it stays pretty close to this. I did put it as an I'll be back. But yeah. Return of Joker's daughter. Yeah, they haven't brought her back for a while. It is the rarity more than it's Bane's daughter. I would agree. But like she still has to also matter. Like if she becomes pointless, then what's the point of having a recover of her? So Marvel does secret variants all the time. This is probably one of the more effective ways to roll out a secret variant. This one did explode. I'm putting it as I'll be back, but I could be wrong on that. I think it's going to come down. I just don't think it's going to come down a lot. Next up, a book nobody's ever heard of or seen from some series nobody ever reads. Amazing Spider-Man number 361. Hit new heights. They talked about this in January, 9.8 to this. We're going for 700. February, 850. March 1st, they were around 1,000. And now they're going 1,300 to 1,300 plus. This book keeps climbing, kind of like a lot of Marvel keys, kind of like a ton of, there's a ton of Marvel keys. There's a ton of Spider-Man books. Everything Marvel, especially, everything in the comic market in general is climbing right now, but Marvel especially, ASM especially. And I'll be honest, this one has probably been, I realize there's a crap ton of these, but there's a crap ton of 300. And comparatively, this one has been undervalued compared to 300 for a while. I'm not saying Carnage is as popular as Venom, but the separation has probably been greater than it should have been. Either way, I don't think this book is coming back. I think there might be lulls, but I think this book is gonna continue to climb. Is what I'm trying to say. Hey, who that's in the house? Dr. Lovebox is in the house. What's going on? I missed you guys coming in here. Oh, reverse, yeah. 200. That's crap that the LCS is asking that much, but hey, hey Mojo, what's going on? Yeah, so I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on this Carnage book because we all know it's a solid book. Next, we got our one Star Wars book of the week. This is Lando number 2, the first appearance of Kenneth Chaw, who is a bounty hunter that's supposed to be appearing as part of this bounty hunter war storyline that's coming up. So people found out about it. It's jumped to $10 to $15. We'll see if this is a main character. I mean, this is obviously going to be, this is Boba Fett's story, and obviously there's going to be other bounty hunters. What's going on, Kurt? Yeah. So, more like Blando. Well, this isn't hitting the list because of Blando. It's hitting the list because of this random bounty hunter that's supposed to appear again. It's only going for $10 to $15, but I would still call it and I'll be back. Because I just don't think, yeah, we'll see if it becomes something crazy good. But yeah, it is kind of an Emperor Lando. Didn't notice that. I really didn't think about that. That is really much the Emperor's share right there, isn't it? Mr. Girl disagrees with you and really says anything Lando is worth it. Yeah, I can believe that because these Lando books are definitely in back issue bins. So, next, what do we got left? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books related to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We'll wrap up our list this week. Shocking, I know. People specking on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What's going on, Hoodrat? So first up, Black Panther number 1 from 1998. First appearance of the Dora Milaje. I don't know that I pronounced that right, but that's how I pronounced it. Raw copies are up to $50. 9.8 are hitting 500. Super cool group. I've loved them in everything. I loved them in the episode where they kick all their butts. I love them in the movies. But here's the thing. It's the first appearance of the group, not an individual. It's not Okoye. It's not AO. It's not like none of the individuals necessarily. So I'm probably saying this will be an I'll be back. I think there's going to be, we got a while before Black Panther 2 comes out. We got a while before World of Wakanda or whatever the TV show is supposed to be that comes out. My guess is there'll be a lull in this book. This is definitely a good book. This is an I'll be back book at the worst. But yeah, I would probably be patient. Again, right now, super hype. Show's coming out. People are jumping on stuff. 5, 6 months from now, people won't really be thinking about this as much. So that's where I would be at on. And that's really my standard thing for anything on these shows is because, yeah, during the show is absolutely the wrong time to buy. It is the first to Okoye. You are correct. I said that, and then I was like, that is wrong. Thank you for correcting me, Alex. Yes. She is the first one, but none of the ones that appeared in the show were first appearance here. But we're probably not going to see her again until the movie. So, yeah, I just think there's going to be a lull here. Get away from the show. You'll probably be able to get a better deal between now and when the movie comes out, is what I'm saying. Nice, Sam. Well, you know, I've never really read a ton of Black Panther. I really feel like I should probably. Yeah, not AO. Yeah. So, all right, next. Okay, so Tom was trying to lay this out. So I guess there were some like codes in the background in the episode when they're in Mandapore, and Marvel launched this Mandapore website, and like it took you to some things and like some crates that were on the dock, and basically it was a hint at Mystique. There was a hint at the next book as well. So people are jumping on them. Like, oh, they're coming. Which I think they're just Easter eggs that Marvel's putting in there to have some fun with people. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Be ready to sell when Loki starts showing episodes. Absolutely is the way to go. Actually, you should be buying Hawkeye books and that kind of stuff right now. You should be buying Ms. Marvel books right now. You should be buying She-Hulk books right now. Because, yeah, you should be anticipating the future shows, not buying based on the show that's coming out. I know, there you go. So, yeah. Easter egg, not real. But anyway, first appearance of Mystique. So that's why people are jumping on this. Raw copies are $225. 9.8s are $1,100. I'll be honest. I thought that was a little cheap. Like, I realized she's got like a cameo. This is her first full, was it 16's a cameo? Is she also cameoed in 17? I forget. I know it's like, they think of them as like a 3-book set. But I'll be honest, like, $200, $1,100 for a 9.8 of the first Mystique. That seems almost reasonable given the current comic market. I put this down as straight cash. Even though the show, this little Easter egg, I feel like this is like maybe undervalued. Like even with this little bump. Setting up a Wolverine show. That's what people have wondered. Yeah. Okay. She is in both of them. I couldn't remember if she was in both. I know she was in 16. I couldn't remember if she was also in 17. Yeah, if she was on the cover, well, she might be. She could just be one of these other characters. You never know. You just say she is. Yep, that's actually her as Scarlet Witch. So, I just feel like this was kind of marginally undervalued anyway, so compared to what other things go for. Nice, John. Nice. Next up, we got the other hinted at character, which was Daken. Wolverine Origins, number 10, first appearance of Daken. This is just the regular cover, not the variant with the third claw variant. Raw 65, 9.4. For some reason, they were reporting 9.4 prices of 200. This one I think is an I'll be back. I don't think Daken's going to be an immediate appearance in the MCU. Maybe, but you're going to have to set up their version of Wolverine. You got to set up mutants and Wolverine, and I feel like this is a ways off. I think this is more of an I'll be back than the Mystique book. He doesn't have quite the cachet as Mystique, and I honestly think they'll probably go Laura before they go Daken, but who knows? That's crazy. Yeah. I really did not like this series. Hey, I own Miss Marvel books. Number one. I own number 1 from that series. Thank you, DJ. There you go. Well, now this one is going for 50 on its own, 65 on its own. So, all based on this Easter egg from the website. To me, this is I'll be back for sure. If not even maybe a trap a little bit, because Daken's just never had any kind of sustained push or love really from collectors. So yeah. Next we have Captain America 312, first appearance of Flag Smasher Carl, whatever the last name is. I can't pronounce it. Obviously we know we've gotten Carly, not Carl. So technically this a different character. But here's the thing. So Tom put it on the list this week. It was on the list 3 weeks ago on Key Collector, going for $50 to $100 raw, $300 to $400 for 9.6. This week it hit the list for Tom, going for $50 raw, which is the low end of what it was 3 weeks ago, and 9.6 going for $325. So this has been pretty stable during the course of the show, is what I'm hearing, that there wasn't really necessarily a jump this week. And again, this is not Carly. This is Carl. Usually, if they swap these, collectors don't necessarily jump on these all that hard. It is first appearance Flag Smasher, but it's different character. I don't see this. To me is I put down I'll be back, but honestly, I think this is a trap because I don't know that we're going to get Carly ever after the series. I think we're going to get one more episode. And maybe she appears later, maybe not. But even if we get Carly, we're never getting Carl at this point. We're just not. They're not gonna bring him in. Unless Carly puts on the yeah. So I put down I'll be back, but I think I gotta switch that. I think it's a trap. Yeah, because it's just different. Oh, did I forget to bring in? No, I didn't. Okay. I was like, oh, I thought I didn't have I thought I was missing a cover. 2 books to go. Strange Tales 159. First appearance of, can I say this whole name? Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Now, spoilers. If you didn't watch the episode, the most recent episode, you need to check out. Spoilers. So, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is playing this character. We know she's coming to Black Widow as well. This is the second Madam Hydra. I'm not sure what she's up to. Raw copies of this book are going for 150 to 175 on average. Like really high grade went clear up to like 400. Really low grade, a little less than that, obviously. Yeah, Elaine from Steinfeld. There you go, Carol. Stranko, yes, definitely. Doctor Strange book. Carol loves the Doctor Strange. So this book, Tom, funnily enough, when they put out their video today, we're still quoting a 9.6 price based on specs she was going to appear. Not that she had actually appeared, a $550 for a 9.6. That was like a week or so ago. Overnight, after the show was released, but before I got up on Friday morning, a 9.6 went for $2,000. 9.2s are going for $1,200. A 7 was a 7.5 or 7.0. Was the most recent slab sale, went for $900. I think it's 7.5. So yeah, this is. I feel like I think they're going to use her some more. I think she's going to be important. That's why I'll go with this and not a trap, because we know she's going to appear at least one more time in the movie. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot for this character, I think. I feel like this is a little bit of a White Vision situation in my mind. This is the peak is way over where this is going to settle. Like, it's going to settle higher than it's ever been before. I think she's going to appear more. But this is way too high, in my opinion. Yeah. I'm sure that's what they're setting up. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they use her a ton. Maybe she becomes a, background, repeated villain type character. But, yeah. Well, you're catching the end, Planet, so appreciate that. So, all right, one more book to give my thoughts on, and that is Captain America number 25, first appearance of Sam as Captain America. Although I guess there was reports that he puts on a suit one time earlier. There's another book that's like from the late 90s, I think. The writer didn't even know she was showing up. There you go. So, yeah, they've kept that pretty tight-lipped. But my guess is, yeah, she's recruiting for Thunderbolts if they're going down that road. Or some new version of Hydra. This book this week, raw copies are going for $30. 9.8 hit $415. This is not yet as high as it was after Endgame. Which is kind of hard to believe, but it's not as high as it was after Endgame. Boy, you should... next week, this book's going to explode. The fact that it hasn't already stuns me. And maybe it has since they were reporting their prices. Maybe Tom's prices are a couple days old now, based on Key Collector and when they were putting the list together, and not based on what's happened this weekend after the episode. But it's clear to me this is what's happening This is what's in the box, right? The cap suit is in the box. What's in the box? It's a suit that's going to make him Captain Falcon or Falcon America or whatever you want to call it. Like, so the fact, if you could go get a raw copy right now, a nice raw copy for $30, I would probably jump on this. I would guess for the next 6 months, this is probably going to be straight cash. Longer term, it depends on how much he uses it, how much they use him, how often they use him. But yeah, at $30, think about what the Contessa book was going for just now. And I realize that's Silver Age, this is modern, but $30? It just seems, yeah. If you got it for 20, like now's going to be the time to be ready to move it. If you got it and this is not a book that you love, be ready to move this sucker, because I have the feeling this time next week, we're going to be talking about this book again. And I expect it to be significantly more expensive than it is right now. I could be wrong, but yeah. I would have thought everybody would have bought it a long time ago. I hadn't stopped looking at it. I just assumed, like, when they announced the show that, like, it jumped really high after Endgame, had fallen way back down, and then I assumed, but in the run-up to the show, that it had been climbing. I hadn't been watching it, but, like, apparently not really. So there you go. Well, he's going to be the same guy. He's just going to have a different title. So, Monsters in there. Is this Barry Windsor Smith, maybe? That Gore's talking about? I think I just see somebody talking about him earlier. Anyway, that's this week's list. That's all the books. So those are my thoughts. I'll be right. I'll be wrong. Tonight, whatever report is back, I'll be talking about stuff I picked up this week. I'll be talking about my opinion on the last 2 episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier, because I've been gone. I wasn't around last week to give that. And I'll be talking about trying to pick one more title. Probably setting up another poll for one more title to add to the indie show for season 2. Then we'll jump over after the whatever report, which is at 7 Central. 8 Central, I'll jump over to Big Will's channel. We're going to play D&D. We're going to be setting up our characters. Daymers is going to be there. Old Wolf, John, White Whale. Comics Mystery had to kind of bow out of our D&D group. Old Wolf has stepped in to take his place, so we're going to be doing that over on Big Will's channel. He's our new DM, so we'll see what he has in store for us. And then tomorrow night, Comigories on John's Comics with Kids. So come hang out and play Comigories. We haven't done that for a little while, so we're overdue for an episode of Comigories, so hopefully you guys will come hang out with us for that. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks, everybody, and we will talk to you later.